Wendy here with our You Hype podcast, and I'm here with Miss Grass today. All right, so how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic.
All right,
Thanks for
that's
having
good
me
to
here.
hear. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh gosh. Well, I'm born and raised in Tulsa. Just kind of give you the lowdown. Married, I have 3 kids. 2 of my kids will be going to college next year, so then I'll have 1 student left at Union. I've been in education for almost 20 years, and I can't imagine doing anything else.
All right, and what's your favorite type of music?
Well, my favorite type of music is, I would say, rock and roll.
What about favorite song?
Favorite song. So one of my favorite songs when I was younger, and I still know every word, is Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison. So going back to the 80s.
So how would you describe your high school self in 3 words?
Confident, yet quiet.
All right, were you involved in any activities when you were in high school?
I did cheer for, goodness, since like 5th through 10th grade. But after that, I had to get a job, and it was just too much. It was just too much time.
And then in high school, what was one of your toughest obstacles you faced?
Goodness. I would say I took an AP European history class, and being in that class, realizing and accepting that there are people that were smarter than me. Like they would just, analyze things, and I mean, they were just so incredibly smart, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got a lot to learn. But being able to accept that, accept where I was.
All right. And then did your graduating class have a senior prank or anything?
No.
No? All right. And then where did you go to high school?
I went to Cascia Hall in Tulsa.
What's something you'd like the students of Union to know about you?
I'd like the students of Union to know that I am here because I love kids. I love interacting with teenagers especially, and I just have a passion for helping people be the best version of themselves. And so although students might look at me as the person that enforces dress code or the person where they're super scared to go to my office, that's not me. I mean, I'm here for kids, and I want to be here just to help them, like I said, be the best they can be.
All right, so you did mention dress code, so I have to ask, did you ever get dress coded when you were in high school?
Yes, so I went to Cascia Hall and we wore a uniform, and if your shirt was untucked, you had detention that day. So it was very strict, so you would learn very quickly not to be out of dress code.
And what is your why?
My why is, like I said, I want to help people be the best they can be. And in this particular role is getting each student across the stage at graduation. Because without a high school diploma, I mean, you're just limited, and I want to make sure everybody reaches that goal, but also to start thinking about what they're going to do after they walk across the stage. And so my why is just being a part of that process.
And did you always want to become an administrator, or what was your...
I did not. In high school, I knew I wanted to be a school counselor. And so to be a school counselor, you have to have your master's degree. And so I was kind of debating about what my undergrad would be. I was thinking psychology, but then I thought in order to be an effective school counselor, it would be really helpful to also be a teacher, to have that lens as well. So I got my undergrad in secondary education, and then I taught a lot of the social studies for several years until I finished my master's, and then I became a school counselor, and I was a counselor for 5 years. And then I decided to transition into administration.
Right. And when you're not at school, what do you like to do on your free time?
I like to, of course, hang out with my family, but I like to build things. So like you know, you've probably seen the pallet board projects. Do you know what I mean? Where they take the boards off a pallet because they're free. And so like last Christmas over the break, I made a pallet board coffee table and a matching end table because I did so well on the coffee table. I had to make an end table. So I like working with my hands and wood in particular, just building things.
All right. And then when you were in high school, what stressed you out the most?
The amount of homework. I mean, we had at least 2 to 3 hours of homework every night. And so then, you know, I said I had to quit cheer because activities at my high school were after school. They weren't a part of, you know, one of your hours. So you'd go to class, then you'd have to do your activity, and then go home and do homework for 2 to 3 hours. So just the amount of time, the time stressed me out. Lack of time.
And what is one of your favorite things about being at Union?
Oh, the student body, the diversity that we have here. I mean, kids from all different backgrounds, all different places in the world, but we're still one family. And I've been in other districts, and I have not felt that sense of community and sense of pride in our school.
And then to what you build, what's one of the biggest things you've built?
So the coffee table's the biggest thing that I've built, and I'm talking I cut the wood. I use, you know, power saws, power tools, drills. The measuring is probably the hardest part of it for me because I'm usually just kind of an eyeball it person, and you really can't do that when you're building something. You have to have exact measurements. So the coffee table, and then the end table, and then lately I've been making like frames. I made a frame for my office that has 2022 on it because that's the class that I'll have next year. And then I made one for Mr. Tempest and Mr. Hookie as well, just to have that common 2022 sign.
What's the best thing about being a high school principal?
It is most definitely May 13th, 14th, whenever graduation is, and seeing 1,000 plus students get their diploma. That's the best.
And what's the worst/hardest part?
The hardest part of being an assistant principal is dealing with discipline. And so many times students only see me in that light where I'm giving consequences, and it's not because I don't like them, it's not personal, it's because in life there are consequences to actions, and my job is to enforce the expectations and give out consequences, and hopefully the student will learn. And so that's the toughest part, is knowing that students perceive me as something that I know I'm not.
And is there anything you'd like to say to those students who just view you as like the dress code principal, or they think you're mean or something? Is there anything you'd like to say to them?
Well, and it's probably the same thing they would say to me. Well, stop a minute and get to know me. Have a conversation with me that doesn't have to do with dress code or truancy or any kind of discipline. Just have a conversation with me. You know, when I smile, smile back.
And then, what's your favorite memory from high school?
My favorite memory from high school. Probably, at my high school, we also did a kind of a leadership retreat, but it was the entire grade. But there was only 88 students in my graduating class, so there's no way 1,100 students could go on a retreat. That'd be awesome. But so getting to spend the weekend with my whole class, and knowing that it was pretty much the end of our time together because we were going to be graduating in a month. And so just that whole weekend experience, you know, you do the team building and the get to know you and just kind of fun, silly games. So that was probably my best.
And then, did you ever get in trouble in high school?
I did get in trouble once. I did. Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah,
what
of
I
course.
and I'm saying like once, besides the occasional dress code,
Yes,
having
yes.
my shirt untucked. I think I was a junior, and I decided I didn't want to go to school that day. And so I had my friend take a note to the attendance secretary, signed by my mom, that said, Brianne will not be in school today. So she took it to the secretary. Well, it just so happened that my mom had to take off work that day to go up to the school to pay my tuition. And so she gets to the school, and the secretary was like, oh gosh, I hope Brianne's doing okay. And my mom's like, what are you talking about? So I got in a lot of trouble, both at home and at school for that.
For being truant.
For being truant.
And what makes you want to be here at Union?
I love my job because it's never the same.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when I get here, and sometimes I also hate my job because it's never the same. There's never a dull moment. I don't have to just sit at a desk and work and do data, or that's just not my thing. I like being up and around. I like just interacting with not only the students but the teachers as well, and building those relationships. So I just love my job.
What's your favorite movie?
Probably one of my favorite movies. I'm going to tell you two.
Okay.
And it'll give you a little bit of perspective about how my mind is strange. So The Color Purple is one of my all-time favorite movies. And then the other one, which is completely different than The Color Purple, is Beetlejuice. So.
All right. And those movies, can you elaborate a little bit on them? Why they're your favorite?
Well, The Color Purple, I mean, how can it not be anybody's favorite movie? It touches on so many different topics, and it makes you laugh, and it makes you bawl your eyes out, and has a fabulous ending. It's just amazing. Beetlejuice, people might not think that would be my favorite movie. I know I kind of have a serious composure, but it just makes me laugh. I mean, Michael Keaton is hilarious. He's one of my favorite actors, and I just crack up every single time I watch it.
Where is your favorite place you've traveled to?
So last year I had a couple years ago, I had the opportunity to travel with some Union students to Europe. So we went to Italy, and then we took a train to France. Mm-hmm. So probably, I would say Rome is phenomenal. It's the best place I've ever been. Just the history. I'm Catholic, so being in the Vatican was a huge thing for me. And then also just fabulous food.
And then where is your dream vacation spot? If you could go anywhere in the world.
It'd have to have a beach.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Greece. Yeah.
Greece. Mm-hmm. And other than cheer, did you do any sports when you were in school?
I did softball and t-ball when I was in elementary school. Mm-hmm. I wasn't super athletic. Even cheer was difficult for me. I'm not very coordinated, let me put it that way. And I'm also kind of clumsy. So I had to give up the softball because I just really wasn't very good.
All right, so is there anything else you'd like to say to the students, or any advice you'd like to give to incoming sophomores or seniors this year?
Well, my advice to seniors is to go to class. Go to class, don't give up, you're almost there, okay? So finish strong. My advice to sophomores, and this year I'll have sophomores and I'll get to follow them for the next 3 years, is one, get to know me and Mr. Hookey and Mr. Tempest, and if we smile and say good morning, please smile and say good morning back. That means a lot to us. But also just to get to know students and know your teacher's name. I am amazed when I talk to kids in my office and ask them who their teacher is, and they don't know their teacher's name. So day one, make sure you know your teacher's name. I think it's going to be a great year, and I look forward to working in particular with the sophomores because I get to watch them grow for the next 3 years, and then in 2022 of May something, I'll get to watch them walk across the stage. So I'm excited.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, Ms. Grass, and we look forward to seeing you throughout the school year.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.